I could not have written Ready Player One if I had not grown up on a steady diet of Steven Spielberg movies. It would have been a different story, or I might not have written it at all. His work is woven into the fabric of my life. Everybody, I think, who dreams of making movies dreams of getting to work with him. It's a dream come true.
When I read Ready Player One, it was the most amazing flash forward and flash back at the same time.
I was born in 2025, but I wish I'd grown up in the 1980s. Like Halliday and Morrow, like all my heroes.
I suddenly saw a future that Ernest Cline, the writer of the book, envisioned.
Atlantis, do you copy?
This is Atlantis. Radio check satisfactory. Over.
Space Camp.
Rubber ticket, purple ticket.
America's real training ground for future astronauts.
I'm going to be the first female shuttle commander.
Catherine, you're not a passenger, you're a pilot. Fly it!
Do you want space camp?
My father wants space camp, but I want my head examined. Please return your seats and tray tables to their full upright position.
All stations verify, ready for launch. FTS.
FTS go.
Props go. AVI.
AVI's go.
GNC.
GNC go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Amy is the one constant I can count on, and now she's changing.
It's just a haircut and some clothes.
No, it's the last straw. I can't take any more.
Can you believe it? They finally fixed the elevator.
You are here to act as chaperones to the candidates. A group selected for intelligence trials using augmented reality technology.
This is seriously weird, isn't it?
I am Ariel. The candidates, they're children.
The time to save our country's future is now.
I thought that was a really neat trick they played on you.
Alert me at any time if you feel stressed, anxious, or concerned.
They weren't like this when we arrived.
There's something wrong with them.
Hurry! Run! Tanks! The other direction!
These are the minds of the future, remember?
It wasn't that far away from what I think is going to happen someday.
I live here in Columbus, Ohio. In 2045, Columbus is the fastest growing city on Earth. But it sure doesn't seem like it when you live in the stacks.
There's a dystopian society and the fabric of our economy is crumbling. It's a good time to escape. So virtual reality will be a super drug.
They called our generation the missing millions. Missing not because we went anywhere. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere except the oasis.
Hi, I'm Michelle Obama, and welcome to Mondays with Me, a series of stories with PBS Kids and Penguin Random House. I'm excited to share today's book, There's a Dragon in Your Book by Tom Fletcher, illustrated by Greg Abbott. Today, we're going to use the power of imagination, along with some stamping and blowing and a little flapping, to save this book from the adorable little dragon who's hatched inside. Oh, look, there's an egg in your book. It looks ready to hatch.
Dragon is now less than 7 meters away from the International Space Station as it continues to
station. Again, we talked earlier that launch is all about accelerating the vehicles to orbital velocity, and
we will be continuing to orbit the Earth, handing over between our coverage.
Committed to NASA and its future. Hopeful words for Central Florida's Space Coast today from President Barack Obama. Good evening. I'm Jim Payne.
And I'm Martha Sagowski, live at the Kennedy Space Center on this blustery, windy day. The president flew in a few hours ago, the first sitting president in 12 years to visit the Kennedy Space Center. He spoke for about 25 minutes. He laid out the long-awaited plans on the future of NASA. And here are some of the highlights of his speech. He talked to a crowd of about 200 hand-selected NASA workers. And here's what the president highlighted. He spoke about giving NASA a $6 billion budget over the next 5 years. He talked about designing a new rocket, a new heavy lift rocket, and have those designs in by the year 2015. He also spoke about extending the life of the ISS. He talked about utilizing private companies. He also talked about designing a rescue vehicle.
Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is a whole, an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome force in the whole godless world. So you listen to me. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats.
We have to fix our economy. We need to close our deficits, but for pennies on the dollar, the space program has fueled jobs and entire industries. For pennies on the dollar, the space program has improved our lives, advanced our society, strengthened our economy, and inspired generations of Americans. And I have no doubt that NASA can continue to fulfill this role.
NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore have been aboard the International Space Station for over 8 months, far beyond their original mission plan. As you may remember, their return was hampered after Boeing's Starliner spacecraft, which delivered them to the space station last year, encountered technical failures, forcing NASA to rely on Elon Musk's SpaceX for a rescue mission.
Get ready for a thrilling show. Dragon Circus is now showing under the red tent facing Forum de Beirut. Live breathtaking performances, the comedian clowns, human pyramid on rope, stunts, the globe of death, and many more. Dragon Circus, a spectacular show for the whole family.
And now, the new American president has issued urgent orders. On his social media, Trump announced, and I quote, "I have just asked Elon Musk and SpaceX to go get the 2 brave astronauts who have been virtually abandoned in space by the Biden administration," and I unquote. He went on to say that Williams and Wilmore have been waiting for many months and wished Musk good luck on the rescue mission. Shortly after, Musk confirmed that SpaceX's involvement, stating, and I quote, "POTUS has asked SpaceX to bring home the 2 astronauts stranded on the space station as soon as possible, and we will do so." I unquote. The billionaire CEO assured the public that plans were already in motion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 44th President of the United States, the Honorable Barack H. Obama.
For the 67th year, the Mizpah Shrine Circus is coming to the Memorial Coliseum.
And things get underway this coming Thursday and will last through the weekend. Here with us this morning is Steve Trump with the Shrine Circus. Steve, those of us in the Fort Wayne area, if we know one thing about the circus, we know it's 3 rings of fun.
Yes, it is.
Of course. So let's expand on that. We got anything new, a part of the show this year?
Yes, we do. We have a couple things that's going to be brand new this year. For the first time ever, we've got what we call the crossbow, which is just a big bow that shoots a human out of it.
Wow.
And he's going to have sparklers on his feet, and he'll be shot the whole length of the Coliseum floor.
Wow, that's going to be dramatic.
Where'd you find that guy? Wow.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
This mission is the one to relieve 2 astronauts who have been stuck on the International Space Station. Remember them? Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams were supposed to only spend about 10 days at the ISS, but ended up being there for 10 months. The countdown is on. Let's listen in.
SpaceX, go for launch.
And great call out.
SpaceX, Dragon Crew 10, copy, go for launch.
Great call out that we're go for launch, and we do have a large crowd here in front of Mission Control.
T-minus 30, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go SpaceX, go NASA.
Johnny Blaze, no one has ever attempted such a distance before. 300 feet from field goal to field goal. What's going through your mind right now?
You look really good. I got lucky.
Luck don't cover it, JB. You got an angel looking after you.
Maybe it's something else.
All you have to do is sigh.
Forget about family. Forget about friends. Forget about love.
You will be the rider for as long as you live.
Copy 1 Alpha.
And liftoff of Crew 10 now.
Vehicle pitching down range.
Independence Day will be celebrated with fireworks from one end of the continent to the other from this day forward. Phantom Fireworks. Brighter. Louder. Safer. When America wants fireworks, America buys Phantom. Thousands of locations with every type of consumer fireworks available. On sale now. Phantom Fireworks. Lighting up backyards of America from coast to coast.
Station. 1.7 million pounds of thrust now propelling Falcon 9 and Crew 10.
I'm not doing it. You have no choice.
Story goes that he'll be normal during the day, but at night, in the presence of evil, the rider takes over.
You deserve a second chance.
Blackheart's coming to create hell on Earth, and you have the power he needs. Stay away from anybody he can use against him.
Roxanne.
Don't you care about me at all?
You have to leave now.
I'm not going anywhere.
Any man who sells his soul for love has the power to change the world.
I can smell your fear. I'm gonna take this curse and use it against you.
Got this rat chopper. It was all flames and stuff. His face was a skull. And it was on fire.
On fire.
Like
looking for someone.
Is he all right? Get him out of there. Is he all right? He's all right! Ladies and gentlemen, on news, Ryan Meiser! Everybody, let's hear it for Ryan Meiser!
Unbelievable stuff. The spacecraft is up and going. A crew of 4 headed to the International Space Station to pick up the 2 crew members who have been stuck in space for 10 months. Continue to watch liftoff and this event on KHOU 11 Plus.
Where do they come from? Why are they here? Why clowns?
Head off. Killer clowns from outer space. It's crazy. Rated PG-13.
Ever wondered what it would be like to see a circus act in space? Well, keep watching. The Russian space agency's Roscosmos TV has released a video showing just that. Members of the International Space Station crew of Expedition 3940 performing all types of circus tricks. According to the TV station, the video was filmed last year but was only released recently.
Jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to God. But man, you're never gonna get any truth from us. We'll tell you anything you want to hear. We lie like hell. We'll tell you that Kojak always gets the killer and that nobody ever gets cancer in Archie Bunker's house. And no matter how much trouble the hero is in, don't worry, just look at your watch. At the end of the hour, he's going to win. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs.
Come on, Pebbles. You too, Dino. Daddy's on TV.
You know, life in dear old Bedrock can be kind of difficult, but it's nothing like the life of crippled children who have no help. That's why the 22 Shriners hospitals for crippled children have been established. They treat thousands of young patients free of charge every year. For more information, call the Shriners toll-free at 1-800-237-5055. Yabba dabba do it now!
In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.
I've been called out by everybody for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Homer Simpson, Mike Tyson, Vince McMahon, like everybody's going crazy over this thing. I guess they want to see whether or not it's my real hair, which it is. So here's what I'm going to do. Miss Universe and Miss USA, I own it. They're here. They're going to really do a number on me. I'm challenging President Obama, my son Donald, my son Eric. Let's go, ladies. What a mess.
Is a tomb dated to 4,600 years ago, and the person who is buried here, his name is Scar, and his name is written in hieroglyphic as Scar, and actually
that looks like me. Look at those ears.
and he was the overseer of the pyramid city of Cheops and Khafre and Menkaure.
Now, one thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat, that's worth reporting. But you might also want to report on a bunch of scientific evidence that seems to support the notion that the world is round.
If some of these folks were around when Columbus set sail, they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
I'm the only one who can walk in both worlds. I'm Ghost Rider.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel like my skull's on fire, but I'm good.
They'd be charter members of the Flat Earth Society.
Today we're taking a crucial step to secure America's future in space by reviving the National Space Council after it has been dormant almost 25 years, if you can believe it. During the campaign, Vice President Pence promised that our administration, because Mike's very much into space, would revive the National Space Council. And with this executive order, we're keeping that promise. I feel very strongly about it. I felt strongly about it for a long time. I used to say, before doing what I did, I used to say, what happened? Why aren't we moving forward? Today's announcement sends a clear signal to the world that we are restoring America's proud legacy of leadership in space. The human soul yearns for discovery. By unlocking the mysteries of the universe, we unlock truths within ourselves. That's true. Our journey into space will not only make us stronger and more prosperous, but will unite us behind grand ambitions and bring us all closer together. Wouldn't that be nice?
On the 27th of June, 1982, director Steven Spielberg screened his highly successful film, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, for Ronald and Nancy Reagan and their guests at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The film was shown in the White House Family Theater, which FDR had converted from a cloakroom known as the Hat Box in 1942. At the end of the screening, and as confirmed by Spielberg in 2011, President Reagan stood up, thanked him for the film and the wonderful evening, and then stated without smiling that there were a few people in the audience who knew it to be based on truth. Soon after this, Ronald Reagan would often make, or attempt to make, comments about E.T. and the potential unifying impact of an external alien threat. Here he is in October 1982, making an E.T. joke with Apollo 17 astronaut and U.S. Senator Harrison Jack Schmitt while standing in front of Air Force One at Hangar 84 in Roswell, New Mexico.
It feels good to be here in the land of enchantment and far away from a place of disenchantment on the banks of the Potomac. Jack, are you sure you want to go back there? Of course, having once been an astronaut, Jack Schmitt is probably the only one who feels at home there. Because Washington is in orbit most of the time about one thing or another.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. We didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
You know, when he was first elected to the Senate, he probably thought that, like E.T., he had landed on another planet. He was one of the few among those alien big spenders.
How much does this thing cost?
The economics of the future is somewhat different. You see, money doesn't exist in the 24th century.
In 1985, 1987, and 1988, Ronald Reagan would foot-stomp the unifying alien threat concept as follows.
I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species from another planet outside in the universe.
People in New Jersey are concerned and demanding information after a wave of mysterious drone sightings. But the government has yet to give any concrete answers. One lawmaker is calling for a state of emergency, while another has an ominous theory about a foreign adversary. Here's CBS's Tom Hansen.
This is over my house right now. What is that?
It's the million-dollar question baffling New Jersey residents looking skyward.
They're just pacing back and forth, going very slow.
Since last month, dozens of drones mysteriously hovering in the skies at night. Near Morris County, the FAA has now ordered 2 temporary flight restrictions prohibiting drones over this military base and Trump National Golf Club after receiving reports of unexplained activity. Today, Homeland Security and state police met with some New Jersey officials, including Mayor Jim Maley.
I truly don't believe they have any idea where the drones are coming from.
Many still have questions, including Congressman Jeff Van Drew, who says individuals with high security clearance have a theory about where the drones come from.
Their concern is that a mothership has left from Iran weeks ago, coinciding about the time somewhere along the area of the United States. It doesn't mean they're right off the coast.
But in a briefing today, Pentagon officials dismissed the claim outright.
We have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary.
In Mendham, New Jersey, Olivia DiMattio's coffee shop is right near the sensitive locations where the drones have been spotted.
How big are these things? You know, are they different sizes?
They are the size of small cars.
We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization.
A cinematic spotlight is shining on New Jersey. Steven Spielberg is shooting his new movie in the Garden State, and it's bringing a lot of excitement for locals. This is just the latest film project in the state. Action News reporter Taronda Thomas joins us live in Tuckahoe with more on the Hollywood magic. Taronda.
Well, Sarah, this is all the buzz here in Tuckahoe and in Woodbine. Steven Spielberg shooting his next big movie right here. I want to give you a look at as close as we're able to get right now. This street that's blocked off Schoolhouse Lane with the state trooper there. Behind that trooper, you go down the road and that leads to today's filming site. It's a rural area with train tracks, and the movie has created a lot of anticipation and attention for the small towns.
So we decided to get together today and have lunch.
Lunch with a window front view, a must for any star sightings in Woodbine, New Jersey. Have you seen anyone famous?
Not yet.
The small town is the scene of a big movie production by Hollywood legend Steven Spielberg.
It's right around the corner from my house, so I've just been driving past it.
Streets throughout Woodbine and Tuckahoe shut down with production crews near train tracks, rumored to be shooting a stunt scene involving this big blue screen.
I was hoping to see Steven Spielberg, but
we can't get close enough to the scene.
But Dan Robinson was able to fly his drone on Saturday, getting a view of all the production vehicles in place. People coming from near and far to try to catch a glimpse of stars rumored to be in the movie, including Emily Blunt and Philadelphia's own Coleman Domingo.
We've been watching everyone set up all week long. We live right around the corners.
Having Spielberg in my town is insane.
Heather Sudol got video of what she thinks are stunt cars for the movie. Details of the film, including the name, are not being revealed, but the mayor of Woodbine got some insight into the top secret project.
They tell me the movie is primarily about UFOs and some railroad scenes and some car chases.
President's on line 1 calling about is everything okay with the alien spacecraft from Planet 10, or should he just go ahead and destroy Russia?
Tell him yes on 1 and no on 2.
Our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
When I was talking with the gentleman from Belcom and we were discussing the lie, everything he was telling me was different from what we were being told was the truth. And at one point I asked him, I said, man, you guys, you lied about a lot, didn't you? And instantly he said, no, we didn't lie about certain things. We lied about everything. None of it was true. I really don't think people realize how deep the lie goes.
Space, the final frontier.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
The Vector, NASA's official logo. If you've ever looked at NASA's official logo, both their official insignia and their official seal, you'll see that the most prominent object in the seal is a red swooshing object. They call that the chevron or the vector.
But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, and wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat?
If you ask NASA's Public Affairs Office, this symbology is featured so heavily in their insignia and seal, they'll give you what really amounts to the standard facile cover story for the unilluminated. They'll tell you that that is a representation of a hypersonic wing design from the 1950s, which was the time the logo was created. Not exactly the case. Someone might want to ask the Russian Federal Space Agency, Roscosmos, that was formed in 1992, why they chose that same logo. And while you're at it, you can go ask the Chinese, who formed their space agency in 1996, why in the world they're using a hypersonic wing design from the 1950s as their official logo. Then you can ask the Japanese, the South Koreans, Taiwanese, Malaysia, Mexico, Iran, all of these countries, even Bulgaria. They all utilize the vector symbology in their space agency logos for their national space agencies. It gets even deeper. You can go look at the individual manned program patches for NASA. The Mercury program, for example, a blatant use of covert symbology. In every logo dealing with the Mercury program, you'll see what looks like a number 7 in their logo. And again, NASA's official story is that they put this number 7 there so that they could pay homage to the original 7 Mercury astronauts. Kind of forgetting the fact that only 6 Mercury astronauts actually flew into space, because number 7 never did. Deke Slayton had a heart problem, so he didn't get to go up. So there were only 6 Mercury astronauts. Yet there's a 7 in every single logo. That's in the official mission or official program insignia for Mercury, as well as the 6 individual mission patches carry this logo. And it carries on to the Space Shuttle program. If you look at the Apollo logo has a big letter A in it. At least that's what they want you to believe, but it's not. Again, that's just a simple way of explaining away the inclusion of this vector symbology in the logo. If you go to the Space Shuttle program, the original Space Shuttle STS program patch is a triangular patch that, again, hides the use of the chevronic vector symbology. And that also goes for many of the STS-specific mission patches. Every single one of the International Space Station expedition patches carry the vector symbology. The Russian Mir space station used the vector symbology. That was their official logo. You can even go deeper and look at military-industrial complex companies. Look at the logo on a company like Lockheed Martin, 2 vectors. The X-Prize logo, Ames Research Labs, U.S. Space Command. When you get into the military realm, the United States Space Command, their official logo is the vector symbol. And when you look at the military's individual space-specific programs, all of them deal with vector symbology in their official insignias. And the question really becomes, who or what are these people paying homage to? And the truth, quite frankly, is out of this world.
Remember everything I read. It's a real drag sometimes. What'd you get on your SATs? 800s.
And what is your name?
Rudy Tyler, ma'am.
Spit it out, Rudy.
Rudy Tyler, ma'am! The green one right next to the red.
At 0900 Thursday, we're going to test fire the engines, and some of you will be able to sit in this.
Earth to Catherine.
Stand by for main engine test.
She's all yours.
4, 3, 2, go for main engine test. We have main engine test.
We have overheat on Booster B.
What does that mean?
We can't stop it. Booster B is near ignition. It's going to light. Get that thing operational.
Go for launch! Now!
We're not authorized.
Ladies, or they're going to die.
What's happening?
Do it now. Light it.
An impossible mistake launched them into space. The adventure of their lives will be getting back home. Space Camp.
This painting, entitled The Madonna with Saint Giovannino, was made sometime during the 1400s. The artist's name is not known, but at first glance you can notice a UFO shape in the sky to the right side of the Madonna. If you were to see the original full-size painting, you would see the object clearly. Looking at the enlargement, you can see a man and his dog standing and looking up at the object. However, this painting has something else being depicted. On the left side of the painting, you see the sun and some vector-like objects seemingly flying from or toward the sun. Perhaps this artist was trying to tell us something. In another painting of the Madonna made by a completely different artist, the unusual patterns of the sun and the vector-like symbols have also been added prominently on the Madonna's cloak. You can see the same symbology on this painting as on the one before. This time, however, there is no UFO object to be seen anywhere in the sky. This footage was taken over Mexico City in 2002. There were many other videos and photographs taken of this same type of object, clearly resembling the shapes as seen on the visor of the astronaut, on the moon, and depicted in the 14th century paintings of the Madonna and Child. There is probably a larger story behind the vectors, but it is very unusual this symbology has been adapted by all the United States and foreign space agencies, especially enemies like Iran.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 7, 6, 5. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. perfect color me. Extreme ways that help me out late at night. Extreme places I had gone, but never see any light. Dirty basements, dirty noise, dirty places coming through. Extreme worlds alone, did you ever like it then? I would stand in line for this. There's always room in life for this. They held me down every night. I didn't have much to say. I didn't give up the light. I closed my eyes and closed myself and closed my world and never opened up to anything that could get me at all. I had to close down everything. I had to close down my mind. Too many things caught me. Too much could make me blind. I've seen so much in so many places, so many heartaches, so many faces, so many dirty things you couldn't even believe. I would stand in line for this. It's always good in life for this. Like it then, I would stand in line for this. There's always room in life for this.
a future that Ernest Cline, the writer of the book, envisioned. I was very careful with Ernie collaborating with me every step of the way to be able to find the movie narrative inside this dense forest of Ernie's profound imagination.
The Oasis being the ultimate toy box with all the toys in the world, and then playing that with one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. It results in just amazing action and such a fun adventure.
Ernest Cline is such a visionary, and I think has seen the future before any of us possibly could even imagine it.